Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Perspective. We'll be talking about the political situation as Maryam Nawaz returns tomorrow, what it will mean for the PMLN itself within the PMLN, what kind of a steering can we expect from her as she returns, also what it will mean for the opposition as she intends to participate and head the election campaign in Punjab. We'll be talking about that, the ramifications of her return for the political process in Pakistan. Also, we'll be talking about the PMLQ, the PMLN, PTI and the PMLQ and their relationship, which has always been fraught with problems, seems to be rather expendable at this time. The statements that are coming forward from Chaudhry Pervez Ilai, then later on from the PTI leadership also seem to suggest that those rifts may not be manageable. We'll be talking about that, all of that today on Perspective. I have with me today Dr. Najma Afzal Khan, who's former MPA, PMLN, SVP Women Wing, PMLN. Thank you for joining us. We also have with us Naveed Aman Khan, who's a political analyst. Thank you for joining us today. And Anika Nisar, who is a journalist. Thank you for being with us. Naveed Sahab, let's start off with you. Overall, as far as Maryam Nawaz's return is concerned, there's a lot that has been said on her leadership skills. It's not her first, it won't be her first election campaign as she steers PMLN. How do you look at this in the kind of political situation that we are in? Of course, the polarization also, and the kind of back and forth exchange we've seen between the opposition, PMLN, PTI primarily, and the PMLN.
In fact, Nawaz Sharif Saab, he's a phenomenal leader. Same phenomena and same charisma we can see in Maryam Nawaz. Maryam Nawaz presently, in the present lot, she is more charismatic than any other politician of PMLN. She has got phenomenal qualities and charisma to pull the crowd. She will definitely face many challenges. She is due tomorrow in Pakistan, yes, but yes, many challenges are there to face. Number one is reorganization of the party. Number two, the inflation in the country. Number three, Imran Khan or PTI is a challenge for every party. In particular, if we talk about the politics in Punjab, definitely PTI has emerged as a political party in Punjab.
Right.
So she will have to work a lot. She will have to not only work a lot in Punjab, but also in the entire country, because she will pull the party in absence of Nawaz Sharif in Pakistan.
Let me come back to you. Dr. Najma, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Dr. Najma, Maryam Nawaz is also seen, of course, she'll be, seen as, of course, being here in the place of her father. She's very much, of course, the PMLN leader, but also seen as her father's eyes and ears, and of course, she enjoys his confidence along with the confidence of your other leaders within and your party and your workers. In that situation, of course, for her to steer the campaign, do you expect there to be major changes? What do you expect now that she is going to return to head this election campaign?
Yes, first of all, MAHRUKH, I will like to thank you for inviting me to this forum. And I would very much and very confidently say that Maryam Nawaz, she is an outstanding and outspoken, very energetic emerging leader. And she is a proud crowd puller. She's charismatic personality. And I think in PMLN, she is the best person to come at this very difficult situation in Pakistan. And she will definitely with her vision and with her bold and outspoken personality, she is definitely going to bring wonderful changes in the party, and she is because recently nominated as senior vice president and also chief organizer of the PMLN. So
Do
I
you
am very
expect there to
confident.
be a lot of changes within the party also?
Yes, of course, she will
Hmm.
look at all the scenario, what is
Hmm.
happening and what is lacking. So
Hmm.
she is to reorganize the party. And this is a very important factor at this situation, since the things have changed a lot. And according to the latest scenario, we have to make different policies for the party to meet the challenges that we are going to have ahead. So
Let me
I
come
think
back to you. Let me come back to you. I'm going to go to Anika Nisar. Ji, Anika, of course, Mariam Nawaz has headed other electoral campaigns not very long ago. We've seen her magnetism. She does draw crowds. She's very popular in the, in the youth also. She's the face of the young lot as far as, the leadership is concerned. How do you look at this change for the PMLN? Do you think that, in terms of mobilizing social media, she has a lot to, she has traditionally also been known for her role in mobilizing, reinventing, so to speak, the social media of within the PMLN. How do you look at this development now for also PMLN, but also overall, the kind of back and forth exchanges we've seen, the polarization we are seeing, the PTI and the PMLN, the relationship, that's hasn't, we know that it's very, very it's fraught with loads of comments that keep flying back and forth. We see that there is, clearly a lot of antagonism between the opposition or being PMLN and PTI at this time.
Mark, firstly, thank you very much for having me in your show. Mariam Nawaz coming back to Pakistan would mean that there would certainly be some sort of balance. At this point in
Hmm.
time, it's a one-sided affair.
Hmm.
Right now, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf has a very strong social media policy. They are, at this point in time, minting on the popularity that came after going out of the power. And of course, they built a narrative
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
certainly did resonate with the public. I think Mariam
Hmm.
Nawaz going out of Pakistan did damage PMLN overall and the
Hmm.
government certainly as well, because Pakistan Muslim League Noon
Hmm.
is actually the face of the government, which is
Hmm.
actually a coalition government, but the brunt is being faced by either Shehbaz Sharif Saab or his cabinet, and most of the cabinet members, of course, being PMLN people, the
Hmm.
main economic team being the PMLN, the
Hmm.
planning and division part, heavily relying on PMLN resource at this point in time. So Mariam Nawaz coming back to Pakistan would certainly at least stop the imbalance that we see at this point in time in Pakistan, in the Pakistani politics. But the problem is that only managing the social media, which she has certainly done very well in comparison to Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf's social media team. She built a social media team from the scratch. She started, spreading the word via the social media, which had never been done in the politics before. PTI emerged, and social media wasn't seen as a source of disseminating information at all. But
Hmm.
that certainly started happening. And to cater that and to counter that, they needed Pakistan Muslim League needed a social media strategy. And I think after a certain age, the leaders stopped thinking about resonating with the youth. And let's be very clear over here, Pakistan is basically a youth oriented country, a country that has around 60% of youth. You can
Hmm.
simply not ignore that factor. You can simply not ignore that part of the population that is there, that is very much into politics, that is very much into fixing things. So Mariam Nawaz coming back certainly would mean good things, but at the same time, the challenges are mammoth. And why
Hmm.
do I say that? Because right now, the politics is very, very, very polarized. And it's
Hmm.
not just the politics, the economic policies at this
Hmm.
point in time. Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf thinks something entirely different that would fix the economy. PMLN and the coalition government thinks something entirely different. And the fact of the matter is that the punching pad at this point in time is the public of Pakistan, and they're suffering. They're suffering at the hands of economic situation. They're suffering at the hands of dollar going up. They're suffering at the
But
hands
does
of
it not? But her
inability to.
coming, does it not send a message? It will. It will send a message of confidence within
It's
the PMLN. You know, as far as the spirit. Let me come back to you, Naveed Sahib. It will. It means, you know, it will infuse a lot of confidence within the PMLN, within the workers. Her return means. You know, of course, it's not Mia Nawaz Sharif Saab returning, but it is, you know, she is very much his emissary.
Though Mia Nawaz Sharif is not returning, but you can say it is Mia Nawaz Sharif who is returning in the face of Mariam Nawaz, because she is a true legacy of PMLN and Mia Nawaz Sharif. She has the qualities and the temperament to steer PMLN in the entire country and mobilize their voters.
And would you agree that among all the other young leaders of the PMLN, I mean, you know, within the leadership of the PMLN, she has clearly, you know, outshone herself.
Yes, she has proved.
You know, with her skills and with her, you know, the way that she's led other electoral campaigns within. You know, we saw Gilgit-Baltistan also. We saw, you know, her steering PMLN. We saw her going to jail. We saw her coming out. We saw her leadership skills when she spoke to the media, even after, you know, she had been in jail with her father. So, you know, there is clearly, as far as her leadership is concerned, I don't think that there are two questions about
Definitely, Baru.
that.
During the last 5 years, she has emerged as a very solid and very strong politician. She is not emerging, she has emerged herself. And she has proved in different political campaigns very powerfully, very successfully. And I would say she should say thank you to Imran Khan, because of his behavior and treatment, she faced jail, hardships, cases against her, her father, her family, and other political figures of the party. But all these things has really given strength to the party, to the leaders, and of course Mariam Nawaz. So I would say that her return will strengthen the party, and she'll be leading like Nawaz Sharif leads.
Do you think that, of course, you know, as far as the PTI is concerned, it will pose as a challenge to them? You know, when she comes back, her own leadership skills, her own defense, you know, as far as her party is concerned. The election campaign also in Punjab will very much, I think, become more dynamic. We'll see changes also, considering her new portfolio.
Definitely, she will make more changes in the party. Reorganization of the party in Punjab province in particular, and in the entire country in general. And it will be a challenge to PTI as well, because PTI will face or see her new efforts, new style, new struggle to steer the party before the elections. So I think that her arrival is a bit late, but on the other hand, we can say that it's well in time. She can steer and she will steer.
Right. Let me go to Dr. Najma. Dr. Najma, moving on also, you know, I want to talk about what's happening as far as the PMLQ and the PTI is concerned. You know, certainly there is a lot as far as the relationship between PTI and the PMLN is concerned. PTI and the PMLQ is concerned. There are their allies, and you know, the good and the bad relationship. We've seen, you know, the swing in the relationship between the PTI and the PMLQ is quite obvious. And now, how are you looking at things, particularly now that these statements after the dissolving of assemblies in Punjab? Do you think that, you know, perhaps they're at crossroads and, you know, this relationship might end? How do you look at it?
Yes, I think the relation between the PTI and the PMLNQ, they were never so strong, and they were just they were just passing a time, and only it is, I think, recently at the point of dissolving the both assemblies, there was a conflict between them, and they actually Pervez Elahi never wanted to dissolve the assemblies, and I think it was a wrong decision made by Imran Khan to dissolve the assemblies at this point when he did not have his National Assembly, and then two major Punjab and KPK dissolving the assembly
But
was.
now that these statements are coming out, you know, they're blatantly being made as far as the former CM is concerned, saying that, you know, dissolving of this assembly was, he was hurried into it. It was something that was, you know, he was exhorted by a couple of people within the PTI as far as the former Prime Minister Imran Khan is concerned. Those statements coming out like this, you know, these blatant statements, what do you think it means for the future of any kind of, let me go to Anika, I'll come back to you. Anika, what do you think it means for the future? Because, you know, seat adjustment, whether the deal of any kind for the future between the PMLQ and the PTI, there were also reports of them merging. Do you think those are all now at the back end?
Mark, I feel like the merging the merger of the two parties at this point in time does not seem to be on the cards. Khan Sahib might want to do that, but Parvez Elahi, from time to time, has shown that he wants to maintain his own party or his own persona or his own personality or his own mindset, which is pretty different from what Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf at this point in time is, because you might remember that interview that he gave where he said that nappies had been changed time to time of Khan Sahib, and he was going forward with the government because of that. And then he came forward and said that, you know, he shouldn't have said anything about the former chief of army staff. And sitting beside him, I was pretty irked, pretty embarrassed about the whole situation. And if something like that comes up, then I'll be the first person to speak up about that. Then Parvez Elahi Saab again mentioned the part where obviously he said something about Fawad Chaudhry Saab's arrest as well. But what he said about the parliaments or the dissolution of parliaments, I think that has a bit of weightage, because after the dissolution of KPK Assembly, after the dissolution of Punjab Assembly, both the assemblies were giving Imran Khan the power, the authority to be able to bargain, to be able to actually, you know, come to the table with other people, and at the same time be at the safe zone. When he had the Punjab Assembly, he had the Punjab government, or he had the KPK government, at least he had somewhere to go where he could not be arrested ultimately. Now the fear is lingering, and it's quite imminent that he might be arrested. And if he's arrested, and if he's arrested from Lahore, KPK, wherever, he doesn't have a safe place at this point in time, until or unless obviously he goes to GB or Azad Jammu and Kashmir. But now he's at a crossroad. And Parvez Elahi Saab saying this does not mean that he's going to part ways, but that means that he wants to keep that higher authority when he bargains with the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. At the same time, I think it's not about the similarities between PTI and PMLQ. It's a lot about, you know how they say, an enemy of an enemy is my friend. So it's more like that. The coalition government and Parvez Elahi Saab, they don't really, you know, mesh together. They don't really gel together. And so does Khan Saab, the coalition government. So they're together because they have a common enemy at this point. Okay. So I think that plays a major role.
Let me come back to you. Naveed Saab, of course they have a common enemy, which is what Anika is saying. And, you know, it was one of those alliances which wasn't, you know, a popular alliance. It was also fraught with a lot of tension now and again, where, you know, the PMLQ had to constantly step in and reassure. And there were a lot of rumors. But now with Chaudhry Parvez Elahi's statement that, you know, he was rushed into this, it shows that those rumors were in fact true, and he was resisting at the time as far as dissolving assembly is concerned. Do you think it also, like Anika is saying, it also indicates that perhaps the former Prime Minister Imran Khan Sahab has been a little hasty?
Yes, of course. Absolutely right. Parvez Elahi, he was, as Chief Minister of Punjab, he was not ready to dissolve the Provincial Assembly. And even the PTI other companions of Imran Khan or the other leaders, they were not ready to dissolve either Punjab Assembly or provincial KPK provincial assemblies. It was a very hasty and unwise decision of Imran Khan, and he is facing now. And he feels that he has done a very big political mistake.
He also went into some detail about, as far as in the funds that he had given to different constituencies within Punjab as Chief Minister, the inroads he indicated he has made as far as the popularity of the party is concerned. Of course, it's linked to PTI. But at this time, as far as the PMLQ is concerned, do you think there's a future as far as a seat adjustment, as far as there were rumors, like I earlier said, that as far as Chaudhry Parvez Rai is concerned, he was asking for the assurance that if PTI did manage to get Punjab, he would again be selected, elected as CM. All of those things. Do you think there's a future?
No, I don't think the future of PMLQ, in particular when we talk about the PMLQ, we talk about Parvez Rai. Both are struggling for their survival. PMLQ and PTI, both are struggling, and both are extending their cooperation to each other halfway.
But isn't it true that PMLQ is at this point stands to lose more?
PMLQ has already lost many things,
yes,
many advantages, many political benefits, and I don't think PMLQ in the next elections will be in the position to assert any power or pressure in the next setup.
You think there won't be a seat adjustment as far as...
No, I don't think, because of their very weak position, because of their internal fighting or their misunderstandings with the PTI leadership. So, both PTI leadership and PMLQ, they don't enjoy a very good relationship.
Let me come back to you. Dr. Najma, do you agree? You think that is, that chapter has now ended as far as PTI and PMLQ alliance for the future is concerned?
Yes, I think PMLQ, they are at a weaker wicket. And now Imran Khan wants them to merge into their party, which I think just like finishing their own identification, and that will be the last thing they should do. But things are not very favorable to PMLQ. And there is already a conflict between the elder brother, Shujat Saab, and also quarrel going on between the two brothers. And this is also going to affect him. And I think he doesn't stand
Dr.
out very
Najma,
bright.
as far as challenges for the PMLN is concerned, certainly economic challenges are, at the very first and foremost when we look at the situation, when we look at dollar, we look at stabilizing things as far as economy is concerned. Of course, the Prime Minister said today that the IMF program will be on track very soon. But even so, there's a mini budget expected. How do you look at that kind of scenario, considering that we are looking at a 90-day period if elections do happen? How do you look at that? Stabilizing things as far as economy is concerned. That is going to be the primary challenge for the PMLN, isn't it true?
Economy is a very big challenge to Pakistan at the moment, and I think. What I can see today is that elections ideally should have happened after 90 days, after the dissolving of the two assemblies. But if the economy space is there, or there is we have a lot of issues heading forward because of the IMF coming to us now, and we have to. It is a very important factor that we have to let our country save from the default. And things are going to get much harder. We have to make very hard decisions in the future to save our country from the default. And people are going to suffer too because of this strict decisions. And see difficult times coming up, and the elections might delay because of this scenario, and also because because when there was a decision between PTI regime and the PDM that there should be a consensus and also halka bandis to be decided before the election time. So this also is going to delay the process a little bit. So I think some delay might occur.
You don't expect elections to happen in the 90-day period?
I do foresee that some delay might happen. First thing, because of the economic crisis, we cannot do elections all the year round. First for the two assemblies, then later with the other two assemblies, and the general elections for the National Assembly.
You're saying that piecemeal elections is no longer an option because of the economic crisis. Let me come back to you. Ji, Anika, do you agree? You think, I'm just going to come to you, Naveed Saab. Ji, Anika, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You think that it's likely? What do you think overall in the kind of scenario that we are, the challenges, economic challenges? I don't think it's anybody can argue. Of course, we're in the midst of economic challenges at this time. The government's grappling with a lot of hard decisions. Do you think there's likely to be a delay, and how and under what provision? I mean, if we look at legally speaking, how is there going to be a delay?
It's a very interesting question. I'll come to the delay part. First I'll talk about the economic part, because you see, I feel like PMLN led coalition government did the same mistakes that Imran Khan's government did in the first 6 months. There was no clear sense of direction. There was no decision making in time that should have been made in the first 6 months. They were not made. And in this case, the decision should have been made in the first 3 months. I think Mr. Ismail Saab was unable to provide that sense of direction, that sense of certainty, that sense of calm to the entire country, the business community and everything. And I feel there's a similarity to this with the PTI's initial days economically, which is why Asad Umar Saab was later on sent, to the other side of the fence economically. So I feel that the government could have done better when it came to economic turmoil, economic situation. And obviously, the lack of decision did affect ultimately. And that is exactly why Dar Saab came. But the misfortune was that when Ishaq Dar Saab came, he also did not understand the economic situation of the country at that point in time. He thought he'd be able to bring the dollar below 200. It was way beyond 200. It was almost at 240, 250 by that time. And when the dollar is at that rate and you try to curtail it, you actually encourage smuggling and you actually encourage black market.
But Anika, how do you think that the kind of situation, of course, as far as the government is concerned, it maintains that it walked, it was thrown into this disaster as far as the government is concerned. This is their narrative, that they were thrown into this disaster by the delay that, started with the last government as far as the PTI is concerned. And those delays and then the cost of those delays is something that the government is still grappling with, trying to get things to move in the right direction. There is no, the point is there are no two opinions on the fact that we are in the middle of economic challenges. We are, the government is trying to deal with that. The Prime Minister has said so, the Finance Minister is saying so. No matter who is the Finance Minister, the point is that there are challenges that were there to start off with. But the question is, under what provision do you think there's likely to be some delay as far as the elections are concerned?
I have been hearing a lot about the delay in elections, and not just these elections, but the general elections as well. And I'm talking about the very, very, informed sources of mine. They do certainly believe that the elections might get delayed, and that would be obviously because of the economic situation. Plus, a part of it would be political decision, because the coalition government would want to regain some of the lost glory. Obviously, Shehbaz Sharif Saab had a certain image before coming, and it is because of the economic situation that you, I, and all the other panelists have pointed out towards has taken a brunt. It has clearly damaged the reputation of the entire coalition government. And I feel like the coalition government, not just because of the economic situation, but also because of political reasons, would want to delay the elections. There's no doubt about that. Can they do that? Would that be legally
that's
possible?
The question. Can they do it?
Would the environment allow it? I doubt that.
Okay. Let me come back to you. Ji, Naveed Sahab, you've been wanting to say something.
Yes, Mahrukh. In fact, if we talk about the challenges, challenges are very tough for Pakistan. Number one, economic challenge. Number two, census is underway. Number three is the readjustment of the constituencies. Number four, the settlement of the flood victims. And we don't have money with us to organize elections at this stage.
And what about this piecemeal election, I mean electoral process? Certainly there's nothing against, you know, it in the law, but the point is the election commission going to be able to do that? Are they going to be able to do these piecemeal elections that we are looking at this time?
As far as the political scenario is concerned, there's no problem in holding or conducting elections on time. Yes, elections should be conducted on time. The time within 90 days or 60 days, whatsoever it is. But I don't think it will be a wise decision to conduct elections at this time when you don't have money to organize. From where the money will come to organize it? I mean, the Pakistan is already in trouble. And you, if we talk about the by-elections, suppose Imran Khan, he says that he will contest elections on 35 or 40 or 50 seats himself. And what will be the outcome of that election?
And then there will be by-elections again.
If he wins, suppose if he wins all 35 or 40 or 50 or 60, what will be the outcome of that? Will he join the assemblies again, or he will ask again to hold another election for himself? I mean, if he wants to hold elections or contest elections, yes, come on, contest elections, but you need to pay from your own pocket, not from the government exchequer. I mean, this is a fruitless effort. This is Pakistan cannot afford such expenditures, or the expenditures which don't have any result or any outcome or any benefit to the government or the country.
But Naveed Sahab, at this time we are seeing the formulation of a caretaker setup. We are, you know, as far as the cabinet is concerned and all of that. The process is continuing. The Election Commission has not said that they will not be able to conduct elections. In this kind of scenario, what do you expect? You think that it will go forward? Because, you know, certainly there isn't a provision that, you know, unless the Election Commission had come out and said blatantly that because of delimitation, because of census, because of these reasons, they can't conduct the elections. You think that the judiciary will step in? How do you look at it?
No, judiciary cannot step in. If economic emergency is imposed, because it is true that country is in economic emergency, then we can go for a few more months.
But as far as the Prime Minister is concerned, he said that, you know, we are looking at the IMF program to resume in the next month or so, and you know, things are going to be on track. Even the former Finance Minister, Miftah Ismail Sahab, has also said that, you know, things are going to go back on track once that happens. So in that kind of a scenario, you know, it looks like there might be election? Might
be. But we are not confident enough because we don't know what will happen within the next 2 to 3 months. As far as the cabinet is concerned or the caretaker setup is concerned, yes, they are here for the next elections. But we don't know what will happen because of the economy, because of the challenges we are facing. Suppose if we go for the elections and if Imran Khan wins, suppose, will he be in the position to handle or to control the economic conditions? No, I don't think.
I think that's a question for all those wanting to vote.
He is the same man who has done nothing and delivered nothing during his first year, second or third year, even before he was leaving the parliament. He has nothing to do, he has nothing to deliver or to show us his landmark achievements, nothing.
Let me go to Dr. Najma. Ji, Dr. Najma, as far as the PMLN is concerned, are you now are you preparing? Is your, you know, as far as your leadership in Punjab is concerned, of course, Mariam Nawaz's return also tomorrow. And are you, you know, is the party going to start preparing for polls in the province?
Yes, of course, our leader is coming back and we are expecting a lot from her, and of course, she will reorganize our party, and with more motivation and determination, we will face all, whatever comes. And if there is a decision of election at the right time, of course we are ready and we stand with the party and we will work and do our best performance to, inshallah, win these elections. Because in Punjab, uh, already in 2013,
do you feel that the popularity of the PMLN is being underestimated as far as the former Prime Minister is concerned within Punjab? We also saw that as far as his by-polls are concerned, where he did not contest himself, PTI saw defeat there. So how do you think that it is a case of him looking at things in perhaps a rather more flattering way than the actual situation?
Wherever he stood, he won. But what about the other places where he did not stand for election and all the seats were gone? So I don't think so. It's just a false image. And inshallah, our party will do the best, and all our candidates, and inshallah, we will work hard for them. And we see a very bright future ahead under the leadership of Mariam Nawaz, as she is capable of handling all the situation, because we have seen her how determined she was when she was even put in the jail with her father inside, and all the leadership was in the jail. And when she came out, she led all the PDM Jalsas very successfully, and it was really a good comeback of her. And now, inshallah, we hope that she will do her and deliver her best. And
Anika, as far as the position, party position in Punjab is concerned, do you think that, we saw the former Prime Minister go towards, when he asked his party to resign, there were people within the party who were against this decision, but then it went forward and the resignations happened. Then we saw the move towards dissolving the assemblies. There was clearly, within the party also, we saw the allies also not agreeing with that decision. But that also has happened. Do you think that, it might be a case of him making bad decisions, worse decisions? Because then, of course, we saw him a move by the PTI to go back into the assemblies also. Do you think that, it might be a case of him making moves that then don't resonate the way that he would like?
I personally feel it's never one leader making bad decisions or one leader making decisions that they might regret. It's the people around the leader as well that are obviously guiding he or her or him.
I mean the PTI itself as a whole. But
Yes,
there were people within his party who did not agree necessarily with those decisions. We saw the allies didn't.
You're absolutely right when it comes to the dissolution of the assemblies. I feel like that was not the right decision until or unless they have another trump card hidden somewhere. At this point in time, it doesn't look like a very good decision to me. And at the same time, I myself had been saying that Imran Khan should return to the National Assembly and do his duty towards the people that voted for him. Because it's important for each
But it seems like there was a move, but it was too late by then.
Far too late, because there already was a motive behind it. And I think when the other parties, but the question also arises that whether the other parties, if it was not far too late, would have allowed Imran Khan to come back to the political arena of the National Assembly or not. So that question remains unanswered. I feel like now is the time to de-escalate the situation. Whenever two countries fight wars, they come back to the table and start negotiating.
But we saw, let me interject, Anika, but we saw the government saying again and again that, PTI should return and the former Prime Minister should return in the assemblies. They should become a part of the opposition. They should become a part of the political process rather than sitting out. And the kind of the agitational style of politics that we've seen, him calling people out on the streets, which is again something he's doing now, has not really, do you think it has resonated with people, considering that, there was the people that came out, there is a lot that is said about him being disappointed by the turnouts on occasion of his own followers. So those decisions will have their own ramifications, no?
There definitely would be repercussions of that, but each party has its own vote bank. And I think that the vote bank that Imran Khan has would stay, and the vote bank that PMLN has would stay, and so would the People's Party. Now, the main vote bank that each party would be trying to gain would be the swaying vote, the vote that is undecided, the
Yeah.
vote that wants to see which party actually would do better in economy, perhaps bringing Pakistan forward, perhaps bringing the lost glory back to the country. So I think that vote bank is important. The rest of the followers of each party, they have their own designated voters, they have their unequivocal supporters that will not sway no matter what. Having said that, I think Imran Khan Saab and the coalition government both, at the cost of repeating myself, I would say that again. We need to de-escalate. The political situation of the country is ultimately leading to bad economics. Bad economics are leading to the tearing of the social fabric of the
But
country.
how do you
And
de-escalate when you are exhorting your people towards violence? How do you de-escalate when you're asking people to come on streets? How do you de-escalate when you are name calling, when you are abusing? That's a question that I think we need answers of. Let me go to Naveed Saab. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Naveed Saab, your comments before we have to close.
Number one, if we talk about the swing vote, in Sindh by local government, the vote has, it was a litmus test for PTI. And the voters have shown their mood that they are not going to vote for PTI in the next general elections. Because if you order People's Party, Jamaat Islami, PTI, and remember that MKM was not in the order. If MKM had been in the order, PTI would have been on the fourth number. Number one. Number two, in Punjab, the vote has once again swung in favor of PMLN. And it will again swing when tomorrow Mariam Nawaz will come and her processions, her leading the party.
Her political movement starts again. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Ashma Afzal Khan. Thank you for joining us. Naveed Aman Khan Saab, thank you for being with us. Anika Nisar, thank you so much for your time. Overall, as far as the situation is concerned, certainly after Mariam Nawaz return tomorrow, we will see a lot more dynamism as far as politics in Punjab is concerned. We will see a lot of changes, as her new position indicates. Of course, the political movement as far as the PMLN is concerned will pick up as far as the pace is concerned, but also perhaps dissolving the assemblies, perhaps not going back into the National Assembly, perhaps having this kind of agitational politics, sticking to it, the former Prime Minister being adamant on these decisions will also have its ramifications for the opposition. Certainly in the next couple of weeks we will be able to see which way the tide turns. Thank you so much for joining us today on Perspective.